The Switch 2 is coming, but there's something missing. The Nintendo Direct that revealed its features, launch games, and price, insert mockery here, has shown us what we've got in store. On June 5th, we're set up to have one of the greatest console launches ever. The launch lineup looks fantastic, and it looks like we'll be getting excellent games for the Switch 2, exclusive and otherwise, throughout the rest of 2025. I cannot wait to get my hands on Mario Kart World, and the new Donkey Kong Bonanza looks really fun. Not to mention Metroid Prime 4 at long last. But throughout that hour-long direct, there was something missing. Nintendo, broadly speaking, has 5 tentpole franchises. The Mario franchise, led by both Mario Kart and the Super Mario platformers, the Zelda series, the Pokémon franchise, the Smash Bros. Series, and the Animal Crossing series. Whatever you may think of these 5 franchises, it can't be argued that these are some of the most recognizable, best-selling, beloved names in all of gaming. And they will be scarcely represented in the Switch 2's first year. With no new Super Mario game, Smash Bros. Game, or Animal Crossing game, Nintendo is leaving a lot of the Switch 2's launch year in uncertain hands. Everyone loves Mario Kart, and Donkey Kong isn't exactly a stranger to gaming, but aside from a Zelda spin-off prequel and a Pokémon game that's launching cross-generationally, it's really only Mario Kart World leading the pack. And those launch year games are important. A huge part of the original Nintendo Switch's success was the incredible quality of the titles that came out both on its first day and its first year. Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario Odyssey. These games are an enormous part of what drove the Switch to such great heights, and definitely contributed to its meteoric sales numbers that will see it becoming the best-selling console of all time. In other words, these 5 series are crucial, and Nintendo is keeping us in the dark as to their next steps. So today, we're going to design and pitch the next entry in each of these series. Well, except for Smash. I love Smash Bros. As much as anyone, but I don't really know where the series will go next. I'm looking forward to whatever's in store, without a doubt. But for today, I want to focus on 4 games that I have concrete concepts for. These are the games that I think will be big and bold and brash and boisterous enough to make the Switch 2 not just the obvious successor to the Switch, but a worthy successor. Is this video just a thinly veiled effort to pitch game ideas that I think would be cool? You bet it is, but that hardly matters. We're hyped for the Switch 2 on this channel, so let's rave about what we want to see. I'm Volcarinite, and these are the 4 games that the Switch 2 needs. Before we get started, if you've been enjoying the content lately, please take a second to check if you're subscribed. Less than 1% of you that watch my videos are subscribed. I've been working really hard to up the quality and quantity of content in preparation for the Switch 2, and I have lots more projects in the works. If you like this video, I guarantee you'll like something else on the channel. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. It'll help us both out. Open world, 3D platformer, Metroidvania. This is the combination that the 3D Super Mario games are building up to. These games are platformers, but they're also something more. The 3D Super Mario platformers are kind of the flagship series of Nintendo, so they've got some unique importance. Getting these games right, making these games into the ultimate system sellers, as well as the ultimate example of what the system can do, is critical. So Nintendo needs their 3D Super Mario games to kind of be able to carry their consoles. Mario 64 introduced the world to the analog stick, Super Mario Galaxy had motion control support and wacky physics, Super Mario Odyssey was a road trip journey that you could play on your own road trip journey. These games demonstrate the consoles with precision and joy. But the Switch 2 is just a sequel to the Switch. How can we demo the system without just doing Odyssey 2? Is it possible? Allow me to introduce you to the next entry in Mario's 3D saga, Super Mario Empire. Super Mario Empire is an enormous, sprawling game that takes inspiration from all over gaming. Here's the main story conceit. You are Mario, Italian plumber guy wahooing your way around the Mushroom Kingdom. You've just stopped Bowser from another kidnapping attempt. There he is now, sprawled out on the ground, head hurting from being stomped on one too many times. What a joke. All of a sudden, the sky turns dark. You, your brother, Peach, and a still headachy Bowser turn to the outside and see a huge cloud forming. The edges of the kingdom, previously wide and vast, begin to close in under the fog. A huge airship appears. It dwarfs Bowser's puny ride, and you can see stuff dropping from the sides of the ship in droves. Little soldiers, cannonballs, electric and ice attacks, they're deluging the kingdom. Finally, the ship stops right in front of the castle. It's big and yellow and purple and angry. Out onto the bow walks 2 figures, one short and round, the other gangly and tall. It's Wario and Waluigi. Wah! They've dumped enemies and obstacles all over the many worlds of the Mushroom Kingdom. Excuse me, now the Vampire, sealing and blocking them off. They attack you, they attack Peach. You, Luigi, and Bowser team up to defend Peach. The Waz cackle, then leave on their ship. You, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser? Now, you four will team up to take back the worlds and take down Wario and Waluigi. Nothing crazy, but here's the kicker. The worlds are all on the very same map. It's a game a lot like Bowser's Fury in this sense, except instead of the many islands in the game being gated by arbitrary collectible counts and a boss fight, they're blocked off by the abilities that Mario and the crew will have to gather. From there, it works a little like if all of the worlds in Super Mario Odyssey were accessible on the same map, with small natural platforming challenges, secrets, and natural landscapes scattered around connecting them. Your hub is Peach's castle, and you start making excursions to the various worlds that you can progress in. You can rescue the denizens of these places as you go, saving Toads and Shy Guys and all sorts of new races from the throes of the evil warriors. But lots of the worlds are blocked off in some way. The castle village is shuttered with huge ice blocks, the mountain treasury had all of its bridges burned away, and the artsy lake town is peppered in enormous metal plates blocking all of the important buildings and paths. Even Bowser's Lair, a big industrial factory for producing bob-ombs and bullet bills and stuff, is covered in blocks. This is where the Metroidvania aspect comes in, because these worlds need certain Mario power-ups to progress. The only power-up that Mario has at the beginning is the Super Mushroom, but that's okay, it's all he needs. Bowser takes you to his lair first, and you clear it out, dealing with a boss that has taken it over. In return, Bowser agrees that his factories will produce power-ups for you, as long as you can bring him a copy of each one. And just like that, you're off to the races. You get your Fire Flower going to break through the icy village. You find the Tanuki Leaf to cross the huge gaps of the mountain treasury. There's some new ones, like a lightning mushroom that lets you travel through wires and those metal plates in the lake town. All the while, you're taking down bosses and freeing citizens of the Mushroom Kingdom for some secondary cosmetic reward. Think of the citizens as the purple coins from Odyssey, or maybe more like the Toads in Paper Mario: The Origami King. I could keep going on this one, I'm actually really excited about it, but I've got 4 of these ideas to make it through, so I think I'll hold it there. A new 3D Mario game is being rumored. Hopefully, we get a game as good as Super Mario Empire. Did you know that Animal Crossing New Horizons is in the top 20 best-selling games of all time? It's true, this game has nearly 50 million sales. This is due to a lot of reasons, and you can learn more about them in my retrospective on the game if you'd like. But one of those reasons was this relaxing bit of escapism being released as the world had, just days before, been shutting down due to a pandemic. The Switch was still gaining popularity exponentially. The Animal Crossing games are cozy and cute in the ways that many people were just starting to realize they craved, and its routine daily normalcy was compelling like nothing else. So yes, there will be another Animal Crossing game early in the Switch 2's life. But New Horizons is already an excellent game. In fact, all of the mainline Animal Crossing games are excellent. I've not played them all, only New Horizons and the DS entry Wild World, but all 5 of the games have been quite well received. The general atmosphere of a real-time, slow-paced daily life simulator with a cute avatar and cute neighbors is something that a lot of people, and especially people who aren't typically gamers, have found very comforting. It's the Farmville crowd, the Sims crowd. It's the Stardew Valley crowd, honestly. So if we're gonna make a new entry in this series, we have to preserve this slow-paced, cozy nature of the games. At the same time, the games have also been progressing in customization for the town and the players, and that's something I also want to preserve. But New Horizons kind of nails the experience it's going for. It's not perfect, I mean, Gulliver made it into the game, but I do think that it is one of the best experiences on the Switch. If we're gonna make the next entry, it can't just be bigger and better, it has to be new and different. The next entry in the Animal Crossing series will be new in many ways. Allow me to present to you Animal Crossing Incorporated. In this game, you play not as the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed hopeful moving into a new town, but as a trusted employee of Nook Inc. You are the contact. You're basically a city planner, working directly with customers who want the small-town experience. You're selling people on the idea of other Animal Crossing games. You're selling the Start Fresh package. You start by managing one single town. You get to choose where it is: mountains, beaches, plains. It'll not be dissimilar to choosing a vacation home location in the DLC Happy Home Paradise, but it'll be a whole town there. In this town, you play the role that Tom Nook would in any other game. You help to set up plots for homes, shops, and facilities. The villagers will ask for the kinds of experiences that they want in their towns. Your first town will have all of the standard basics: a town hall, a shop, a museum, and a port of some kind. You'll be in charge of gathering the materials and building these. You can do this yourself, like in New Horizons, or you can use those Nook sensibilities and buy the stuff you need. Your villagers love the forest? Great, make sure that your shop is buying wood and rocks. Do they want to fill their museum? You're selling fishing rods and nets. You get a lot more control over the experience, but it's not about min-maxing like any old city sim game would be. It's real-time, slow-paced, day by day. Eventually, your town will be self-sufficient. You can always visit and stay, you have a home there too, but Nook Inc. will come calling, and you'll need to sell another Start Fresh package. Your customers will all have wants and needs based on their personalities. Cranky villagers may want a crisp, cool town in the woods, while your peppy villagers might prefer a photogenic beach town. Different locations will have different materials, and different villagers will have different hobbies and interests. You can collect the resources of every town by setting up shops to buy what you need and sell what the villagers might need to collect them. There'll be more niche shops and services as you become more successful and skilled. You'll get a customer who wants to move into an entire town for clothing and accessory shopping. Another one might want to set up a resort town with restaurants and villas to stay in. Maybe a certain celebrity comes to you with the request to turn an entire town into a concert venue. Animal Crossing Incorporated is trying to mix what the series is known for with some more long-term engaging mechanics that the fans would like to see. It's partly inspired by the kinds of factory sim games that people often try to turn New Horizons into. It doesn't sacrifice the pace or the personality of the series, rather it allows the player to take on a position that they never have before. The point of this game is kind of to address the main concerns of New Horizons: that players will eventually run out of things to do, that the villagers tend to get stale, and that players often want to have multiple concurrent towns on a single system. Well, with Animal Crossing Incorporated, all of those concerns are built right into primary gameplay. I'll confess that of the 4 ideas in this video, this is the one that I'm the least sure of, but I think that, if done right, Animal Crossing Incorporated could have the kind of personal impact that New Horizons did, while also carrying a gameplay loop that keeps players invested in the game, well, forever. So there's a question about the Legend of Zelda lore that's always bothered me. Well, actually, there's hundreds of questions like this, but there's one particularly potent question that has really stuck with me. Why is the centennial male Gerudo destined to become an evil king? In case you don't know, here's a brief bit of Zelda lore. The Gerudo are a tribe of warriors that live in a desert usually called Gerudo Desert. For some reason, they are almost exclusively female. Don't think too hard about that. Once every 100 years, a single male Gerudo is born to them. Don't think about it. By Gerudo law, that male is to become the king of the Gerudo. That male is traditionally named Ganondorf and is the big baddie of the Zelda franchise. But why? Why is all of this true? I've said before that I don't care about the Zelda timeline, but this quirk has stuck with me. There's no lore explanation for this, not even a cursory one. I mean, Skyward Sword nominally sets up the cycle of the Hero of Courage and the Princess of Wisdom, that's Link and Zelda respectively, but the Demon of Power is just an entity here. There are a couple of villains that try out the Triforce of Power until, in Ocarina of Time, it settles into Ganondorf, and then just never leaves. Why? Well, it's time for an answer. This is The Legend of Zelda, the Nameless Hero. The Nameless Hero sees the player in the world not as Link, but as a nobody, a young, shadowy vagrant living alone in the outskirts of the Gerudo Valley. He, yes he, maybe you can see where I'm going with this, is just a young boy living by himself, scavenging and trading at the local market. He doesn't even have a name yet. Most people just call him Vo, the Gerudo word for man. He lives a lonely life, working with traders to keep himself fed. One day, on a visit to the market, one of the traders he works with is being ganged up on by a group of thieves. The Vo steps in to defend the trader, but has no weapon of his own. But he's strong. Even though he's young, he's got a natural sense for combat, it seems. He's able to parry the clubs and punches and kicks from the thieves until he spots something. One of the thieves has a sword sheathed on his hip. In an instant of opportunity, the Vo steals the sword and uses it to clumsily kill the thieves. The trader is shaken but thanks the Vo. She compliments his strength and resourcefulness and asks him if he'd be willing to do her a favor. She has an old friend living on the outskirts of Kakariko village that has placed a special order, but she can't leave her stall or travel that distance to bring it to him. She promises to reward the Vo handsomely if he agrees to bring the package to this friend, which he does. The Vo is eager for a break in his monotony. He's a freak, an outcast from his people, and the rest of Hyrule won't be much kinder to him than the family that disowned him. But he wants to do this. He wants to learn to do something more than fight. He was special by birth, so he must be destined for great things. This story is a prequel to Ocarina of Time. The Vo that you play as is, of course, Ganondorf, though he doesn't have that name yet. The Nameless hero serves two purposes for the greater Zelda narrative. It shines a light on the many rituals, traditions, and destinies of the Gerudo people, and it explains why the Gerudo male is destined to be the king of the Gerudo and a vessel for the Triforce of Power, the ultimate mark of evil in the Zelda universe. For those reasons, the Nameless hero has a greater focus on story than the typical Zelda game does. The game is sort of open world, but it's more like the Wind Waker. Sure, you can go anywhere you like, but there's a good chance you can't do anything at the locations until you make the proper progress first. It's ratcheting back some of the freedom of Breath of the Wild, but it's not wrenching us back to Skyward Sword. It's a happy medium. And this story exploration is paired as an equal partner with the unique combat mechanics of the game. The Vo doesn't typically carry around with him any weapons. Instead, encounters focus on hand-to-hand defense and searching for opportunities to use the environment or the foe's own weapons against them. Using tree branches and rocks around you to harm opponents, stealing weapons mid-fight, quickly parrying attacks, and overwhelming them with your own physical strength and power. That's what combat is in this game. It's very, very different to typical Zelda combat. This may seem strange to you, but recall that the most recent Zelda game we got treats combat as an afterthought. The series as a whole is currently going through a bit of transformation, a new protagonist and a new perspective on fights. That's the engine behind this game. It's a new kind of action-adventure. The Legend of Zelda, the Nameless Hero, is the story of why Ganondorf is the conduit of evil in Hyrule. It's a darker story with more nefarious combat and a protagonist that isn't afraid to eschew nobility and honor for his own goals. So we've got one more game on this list, and it just so happens that I've been working on the plot of a game myself. This seems like the perfect place for a little backdoor pilot, don't you think? Pokémon North and South is a project I've been working on for, well, a while. For those who don't know, it's my own story-based Pokémon game that I've been writing in the kind of Pokémon world that I described in Magic, World Building, and Pokémon's Biggest Failure. Basically, it's a Pokémon game that takes the power and magic of Pokémon seriously. It's also a long tale, and that's me saying it, the guy who made a 70-minute video on Celeste. If I made all of North and South into one video, it might crest the 6-hour mark, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, it'll be an episodic story. Consider this to be a little teaser for the series. For today, I'm simply going through the gameplay of this prospective game. I know that we'll be getting Pokémon Legends ZA this year, so I certainly don't expect us to get another mainline Pokémon game, though it's not out of the question. But whenever it comes, this game needs to be special. It needs to be new, it needs to be different. And I think it needs to kind of act as a full reboot to the series. So, Pokémon North and South is a story-focused Pokémon adventure through the Tunia region. You play as, well, you. You're a citizen of the small seaside village of Thalassica, where people and Pokémon live in harmony. Thalassica is built of houses of dried mud bricks, tropical wood, and thatch. It's nestled on a peaceful shore at the cusp of a sprawling rainforest. You could say it's several centuries in the past of modern Pokémon games, but it doesn't really exist in that same world. Remember, it's a full reboot. You're a guard for this town, working with a peaceful Hariyama and a few Escavalier. One night, you hear a disturbance deep in the woods. You make your way there to find a little girl from your town has slipped out and is now caught in the eyeline of a vicious beast. It's sitting just on the other side of a gold-ringed portal, huge and growing, and it's sending a terrible blizzard through. Quickly, you rescue the girl and run as fast as you can back to Thalassica. But the frost keeps pouring into the jungle. Trees, plants, Pokemon, everything living freezes over. The whole town of Thalaska evacuates, desperately trying to make it to the city of Teagala, far away from the portal. Within just a few weeks, most of the region has frozen over. You and the little girl, Clarissa, made it into the city, but not many others from Thalaska did. Clarissa's parents are among the lost, so you've been taking care of her. You've also been taking care of a mischievous little sprite Pokemon that you've never seen before. It's small, but it glows with the gold of the ring around the portal, and it carries those rings with it. Clarissa's taken to calling it Hoopa. As best as you can tell, Hoopa came from the Frosty Place. It somehow was able to create the portal from there to Tunia, but along the way, it angered the angry beast on the other side. Hoopa was too scared or weak to close the portal in the moment, and now the brutal blizzard is far too powerful to even get close to it, so the portal's staying open. You gather with a few survivors from Thalaska and the rest of Tunia to make a plan. What you need, desperately, are powerful Fire-type Pokemon to keep the cities and villagers warm. Fire-types are rare in Tunia since it's a tropical jungle, but a few are known. So, your mission is this. You'll be going to the places where these fire types are known to dwell and taming them. You're doing this for two reasons: to help keep the people of Tunia alive, and to be able to approach the portal and get Hoopa to close it. The gameplay is a sort of mix between Legends Arceus and The Witcher 3. It's not a complete open world. You'll be progressing linearly through a series of smaller subregions. They're all connected, and once you visit each one, they'll inhabit the same map. You can explore as much as you want in each subregion, but you can't progress to the next one until you hit the proper story point. The game is very much story first, but the mechanics are built to support it, flesh out the world, and make a great experience. Pokemon capturing works similarly to Legends Arceus, though there are some specific plot-driven differences to the process. However, the main bosses of the game are all powerful Fire-type Pokemon that cannot be captured normally. So these bosses are best described as tactical action fights. You'll spend time observing their behavior, listening to people who've encountered them before, and building a strategy. The fights themselves are all real-time boss fights, much more like a typical action game than a Pokemon battle, but you will use Pokemon to your advantage. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but the boss fights are extremely cool cinematic moments that I can't describe any more than this without just spoiling them, which I don't want to do. But if you're curious to learn more about the fights, world, and story, the first episode is going up on May 10th. You'll learn about the world, the characters, and the story. I'm really happy with it, and I'm really excited to share it with you. Please, if any of what I've talked about sounds interesting to you, hit the subscribe button to get notified when it drops. Well, there you have it, the 4 games that the Nintendo Switch 2 needs to have in order to be successful. Now, when I say that the Switch 2 needs these games, do I mean the exact specifics of the games that I've pitched? No, of course not. These are just some of the ideas I've had for the several Nintendo series that I thought would be cool and novel entries in their franchises. Sometimes it's just fun to design the ideas for these games. But I do think if we abstract away the details a little bit, these are the kinds of entries in the series that will propel the Switch 2 to the kinds of popularity and cultural relevance that the Switch had. The novelty of playing on the go is long since past. Now it's time to show that the Switch 2 is home to the next generation of ideas and developments in gameplay. The games have to feel new and exciting more than ever before. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling me what you thought of these ideas. Are they great? Do they suck? Would you want to watch a whole video of me detailing the entire idea for any of these games? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget that the first episode of Pokemon North and South comes out on May 10th. Until then, you can check out this video on the list of games that are confirmed coming out this year that I'm most excited for. But that's all I've got for you today, so enjoy your day and take care.